Hello and welcome to Daily Mind Matter. I am Sanjeev K, Soin, and today we will discussing a very interesting psychological question: lack of remorse or cognitive dissonance. Why do people justify their wrong actions? Have you ever noticed that after hurting someone, some people never seem to feel guilty? Instead of saying, "I am sorry," they say, "You deserve it," or "I had no choice." Do they genuinely lack remorse, or is their mind simply protecting itself from discomfort of admitting a mistake? Psychology says that when our actions doesn't match our values, we experience mental discomfort. To reduce that discomfort, we often justify our behavior instead of accepting responsibility. This is known as cognitive dissonance. But can repeatedly justify our actions eventually reduce our feelings of remorse, or these two completely different psychological concepts? To help us understand this topic, I am joined today by our panelists, Reshmi and Azeez. Welcome, Reshmi and Mr. Azeez. Uh,
Good
thank you
evening.
both for joining today's discussion. Let's begin. My first question, my first statement, uh, Ms. Rashmi, let's begin with you. What is remorse and how is it different from simply saying I'm sorry? Ms. Rashmi, please your response.
Yeah, good evening. So lack of remorse is something different from cognitive dissonance. It is inbuilt characteristics which they feel that hurting someone is not wrong. And they feel, for example, let's say somebody X or Y stole a money from their colleague and found that the colleague is not able to pay for the rent. It was for the rent, let's say. He has saved that money and he stole it. It so happens that he doesn't feel bad about it. He says the other person should have been more careful, right? So he is not even justifying his statement. He just doesn't feel sorry for that, and just doesn't have any bad feeling at all. So they don't even attempt to say sorry. So I feel it is also the way their mind works. So there can be situations, if you see in companies, where some people don't involve in any work, and if any work is given, they just they show their temperament, and it so happens that people avoid giving that person work. And do you think that person is upset about that? No, because the person, from his perspective or his or her perspective, this is what they want. They don't want any work, and showing such attitude doesn't hurt them, because ultimately what is their goal? They don't want any work, and they don't want any responsibilities. That is happening, so they don't feel any remorse. So it depends upon that person's characteristic nature. uh, so they don't, it doesn't matter if it hurts others. And they are also not bothered about what others feel about them. That is also a point we noted, that they don't really feel or care what others feel about them. And so they don't, come forward to say or make a point to say sorry.
Okay, well. So I think here comes some kind of traits like narcissism and maybe we can say somehow we can supposed to be put the label in this way, right? Okay, Mr. Aziz, what are your thoughts on this, Mr. Aziz?
Yeah, I think cognitive dissonance produce lack of remorse. I think so. Because earlier we had a talk about this ego, id ego, superego, and the relation between id ego and superego. Ego balances between id and superego, and like that, those who have cognitive dissonance, always they project into others. They hide their guilt, they hide their sin, or whatever may be, whether quote unquote sin, punya pab, So if they are doing evils, they project Evil means in the sense of antisocial activities like Reshmi earlier said about stealing and cheating, the cheating of loyalty between husband and wife, the relationship between father and son or father and kids, if they are doing evils, if they are breaking the relationships, they project into others and they conceal their evils or sin, and they manipulate themselves as good citizens or good husband or good father or good mother. So I think the lack of remorse comes from cognitive dissonance, because people have individuals have IQ level, EQ level, and SQ level. So these these IQ, EQ, and SQ have relationship between each other, and there should be the harmony between this EQ, SQ, and IQ. If a person have the good harmony between these three things, intelligent quotient and emotional quotient and spiritual quotient, they have a good life. They don't need of projection or introjection or manipulation. And I think the narcissistic persons, most of the narcissistic persons have these kind of cognitive dissonance, in my view, because there is a relationship between, because narcissistic people are creative also. If even though they are creative, they will do evils. They may do mistakes. They may steal, or they may cheat. They may break the loyalty between the husband and wife. That's why I think, in my view, this lack of remorse, lack of this repentance comes from cognitive dissonance also. If a person is saying, I'm sorry, it may not be sincere. People may just say, I'm sorry, for hiding their mistakes, or for, escaping from their mistakes or evils. They may say, I'm sorry, just say, they are not saying sincerely, they just verbally they are saying, they are not, their words don't have any sincerity or loyalty. Just they can say, I'm sorry, to escape from their evils. That's also, I think, comes from cognitive dissonance. And this cognitive dissonance depends on IQ also. IQ and the harmony between IQ, EQ,
Yeah.
and my finding. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well said, and it's supposed to be go for some extent, like, and why do people often justify their wrong action instead of accepting responsibility due to some traits like narcissism and the lack of, as Mr. Aziz told, SQ, EQ, IQs, and maybe the personality differentiate here. So what exactly the acceptance responsibility wrong for the wrong action stuff, saying sorry, not saying sorry from the very heart, from the deep heart, and I mean the from very warm heart, from very deep inside. They don't say, they say in the upper level, upper layers, like the sorry, this sort of trait we see the, and we distinguish in between, like, right. Thank you, Mr. Aziz. Reshmi, would you like to add your perspective on this, Ms. Rashmi? Would you like to add your perspective on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, because I feel there are two, these two are different, definitely, lack of remorse and cognitive dissonance. But the more you try to convince yourself, see, cognitive dissonance comes because of the conflict of your belief and what you're doing. You have been taught, like, you're not supposed to tell lies, and you're brought up in a very good way, right? You are in a very good family atmosphere. You're brought up with all the ethics and the righteous way. But sometimes what happens in certain situations, the person happens to tell a lie, to his or her friend, or did something in the job, based on certain situation, the just happened to be like that, and the person says something which is against that person's belief or thought process. Okay, so that time there is a conflict, and that is what is mainly termed as cognitive dissonance. Now, the first time that person does that, he really feels guilty, and feels really bad about it. But of course, we, being human being, try to find justice in our whatever we have done. So probably the person tries to justify that I had to do this, it was for this reason or that reason, something to find or console uh, themselves. But the second and the third time, if this happens, and they get away with it, so probably slowly they move towards what you call the lack of remorse. Okay, so there is a slight difference between the both, definitely. But over the time, if you repeat this process, then you can go towards the more severe case of the lack of remorse. So the more, after few instances, you may really not feel bad about what you're doing. So, but initially, they will definitely feel a lot of discomfort, conflict, mental agony, that what they're being, and they might feel distressed that what I'm doing is not right. But if they get away with it, then maybe, they might try the second time, third time, and then probably what happens is it goes into this, that they that discomfort slowly reduces, and then maybe they may not feel really bad about it.
Yeah,
So that is something, and again, it is also the individual character also matters there. How much are you able to take that discomfort? If your belief system is so strong, and what you did really makes you feel bad, then you might try to rectify that.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah.
So here comes the theory of cognitive dissonance. I think so. It's by Leon Festinger. I think so. It's supposed to
Yeah.
be. I'm right. It's then. So the repeatedly justifying our behavior is that gradually
Exactly.
reduce our or even eliminate feelings of remorse. Is this the case? I think here
Yes.
play the trait like the personality trait as well as mainly we uh, again focus on the like narcissism. So this can be
Mhm.
the reason for one factor for that lack of remorse is all about the main trait of the narcissism, right? Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Rashmi, for your response. And Aziz, what do you think about the? I mean, in very simplification, simplify way, like supposed to be, I define what exactly cognitive dissonance is all about in very general and real life example, or it's supposed to be uh, person truly lack remorse or simply avoiding guilt through a cognitive dissonance. Mr. Aziz, would you please give me some insight on this?
Yes. I think if a person have a strong belief system also, they are behaving in a nasty and wretched way sometimes. I think the belief system can't help the people. Belief system is superficial, I think. Even though the belief system is in deeper level, like shadows, archetypes, or something, designs defined by Jung, it works like superficial elements in day-to-day life. Most of the people are in different belief system, even though they behave in a narcissistic way. Those who are more stronger in narcissistic disease or abnormality, they may behave in the cognitive dissonance, and it produces lack of remorse. In their belief system, guilt is guilt, sin is sin. But even though they behave against their belief system because they are narcissistic and they have cognitive dissonance, that's why they will justify their mistakes frequently by projecting their mistakes onto others, and they will manipulate that they are clean, they are fair people. Like in the socio-political scenario, we can see the ruling class always, they are narcissistic and they hide their guilt
Yeah,
and they
well
project
said.
onto the people, onto the mass, onto the revolutionary people, onto the youth.
Yeah,
So many life scenario is there in the individual sense or in the socio-political scenario. We can see the narcissistic
exactly
people.
right.
They are in the ruling class or working class or in the rickshawala or the artistic people. We can see the narcissistic people. They show cognitive dissonance, and they may do the evils. They may do the wrong things, wrong activities. Then they will project onto others.
Yeah, the main,
So the
yeah,
belief system, even though the belief system is innermost, like shadows or archetypes or designs, or the belief system is in our collective unconsciousness, even though belief system is like lipstick or makeup in this modern era,
okay. Yeah. So actually, yeah, the main factor like the mechanism, like defense mechanism, like projection, you said is very clear way, and that's also factor of defense mechanism, projection, right? Thank you, Reshmi and Mr. Raja, for sharing your valuable perspective. Today's discussion remind us that lack of remorse and cognitive dissonance are related, but not the same. Understanding this difference can help us become more self-aware, accept our mistakes, and build healthier relationship. Thank you for watching Daily Mind Matter. I am Sanjeev K, Soin, along with Rashmi and Azeez. See you in our next discussion. Take care, and we will get a new topic on a new discussion. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you very much for watching this Daily Mind Matter. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay. Okay, bye. So okay, Mr. Aziz left. Okay, bye bye. See you.
Okay, see you.
Okay, so